Welcome to Ingredient Insiders. I'm John Magazzino.
And I'm Andrea Parkins.
Thanks for watching this clip of our interview with Chef Duff Goldman.
For the full episode, find us on Apple, Spotify, or wherever you listen to your podcasts.
Links in the description below.
Was anybody doing these crazy cakes before then? I mean, or because
I feel like you were like the show, at least for me, and it was like the first.
Right.
That, you had those the shows that you were on before, like the championships where you have to carry the cake. And, they hoped you dropped it, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah. And, the drama there. But I feel like in terms of like a weekly show or whatever, in terms of cake, like you were kind of the first.
Now, as far as like the art of sort of, sculptural cakes, there is this book from the 70s, and it's called Larry Powell's Big Book of Cake. And if you, into that kind of thing, and this guy from the 70s that was doing he did this life-size Abraham Lincoln sitting in a rocking chair, crazy stuff. In the 70s, this guy was doing it. But it wasn't like a huge thing. He was a very specific guy. There was this other guy in Seattle named Mike, and he had Mike's Amazing Cakes, and he was one of the first that was really, really, really good at this stuff, really incredible. And there were a few others. Colette Peters was one. Ron Ben Israel, another one. Sure. There's the whole school of cake decorators in New York that were just sort of dictating to the world what cake style was going to be.
Margaret Braun,
Margaret Braun,
friend too. She used to make those kind of sculpture pottery looking cakes that.
When Margaret Braun's book came out, and it was really neat. I got to meet her years after her book came out, and I was like, I cannot overstate how much your book had meant to me when it came out. I mean, it was so beyond anything that was in print at the time. I mean, some of her mosaics that she made, these little tiny mosaics, and just the minutia that made her cake so just alive, and you could feel them. You could physically feel them. She was incredible, and I got to tell her that.
When you were talking earlier, because she's an artist. I mean, I think of her as an artist and a baker second. I was envisioning what you were describing as you love sculpture and or were doing these things along those lines. So
I think bringing it to television, I think you were the one who did that. And I think, I'm thinking about shows now, we just watched Is It Cake?
Is It Cake?
And, that show, I think it's wild. And you have these contestants who this one is now known for making purses, right? You go to this person because you want a cake that looks like this purse. And then this guy does animals. And this guy, and it's the whole thing now.
Yeah. It blows my mind on Instagram when I see those, you're looking at this image and then all of a sudden they slice it. And I'm like, wait, that was a cake?
Well, that's Mikey Day is the host of the show. And he goes up and you have to guess which one you think is cake. And they all look, not? And sometimes I am I have no effing idea which one is cake.
It's great. Yeah.
And he taps it. I'm like, not cake. How does that feel, I guess, to be kind of the pioneer of bringing that to television?
I mean, I'm one of many, you know
sure.
what I mean? And the thing about Ace of Cakes was we were a team, that was a group of people. It was a collective that was, making this crazy stuff. When I see, shows like Is It Cake and everything I see on Instagram and just all the cake decorators now, it fills me with joy knowing that I was doing this weird thing because I needed to pay the bills, and it has blossomed and just grown, it's crystallized into so many different, there's the people that only make hyper realistic cakes, and there's people that make really abstract, really cool stuff, and people that really design focus, really heavily design focus, and people using crazy technology, CNC machines and, sugar printers and all kinds of stuff, but using it in a really creative way. I'm not about, I am analog. As I am as analog as it gets. I am a Luddite. I want to smash every digital device in the planet. Yeah. But seeing that kind of technology and people using it creatively and making cool stuff, and printing out gears made out of pastillage and making moving parts on a cake with, it's just blows my mind, you know,
Right.
and I love it. I love seeing it. You know, I think sometimes like when you're, you know, in a field and you do something and then you see how it sort of influences, you know, downriver, sometimes people get a little bit of like, oh, you know, I was the first that was it. And like, nobody was the first.
Sure.
Nobody. I was not the first.
Right.
You know, I wasn't the first doing it on TV. I didn't invent making cakes that look like other things. I took it to weird places, but you know, and we like invented some techniques and tried some cool stuff, and you know, some of it worked, some of it didn't. But you know, we are just one node of a, you know, ever expanding, you know, field of culinary art that, you know, is just weird. Cake decorators are weird. Have you hung out with cake decorators? Like, I'm like normal.
I mean, I see like some of the contestants on these shows and I'm like, but I don't think it's weird. I think it's like eclectic and it's creative, and I love their energy and they like the passion that they bring to it.
Yeah.
I think it's awesome.
I use the word weird as a compliment.
Yeah.
By the way.
Good. Okay.
We hang out with some weird
Good
people.
weird. Oh, yeah.
I love weird. Weird's good.
I tell people to stay weird all the time, man. Especially like kids. Like I do Cameo, you know that app Cameo where you like, and like it took me so long because I was like, this is like the douchiest thing. Like people, they pay you money and then you like send them a video. Like I just do that anyways. So I don't charge a lot of money at all.
Yeah.
And a lot of the ones that I get are like from parents, and they're like, hey, you know, like my kid really likes your show, and like they're pretty creative and they do stuff. Sometimes like they get made fun of at school, and like those are the ones that like when they send me those, like I will talk for like 15, 20 minutes. I'm
Right.
like, listen, kid, stay as weird as you can. Just
Yeah.
be who you are. And the more authentic you are to yourself, the people that are going to love you are going to find you. And the people that don't love you, it doesn't matter. They're going to be pumping gas anyway.
I love that.
You know, stay weird.
Totally.
Totally.
Love it.
I prefer weird over normal any
Totally.
day. So I guess what is next for you? What's on the agenda?
We got this new show coming up. We're going to start filming next week, called Super Cakes. And, yeah, it's like, it's crazy. So it's basically me and my team have 4 days to make 6 cakes. And then there are 6 other teams that have 4 days to make 1 cake each. So it's like, you know, when like the chess master has to like play like, you know, 10 games at once kind of thing. It's like that. So because like we will beat everybody. We're really good at this. You know what I mean? Like the team that I put together is just, we're great.
Yeah.
So if we were going head to head, like, you know, we would destroy
no
everyone.
competition.
It wouldn't be fun, right? It would be cool cakes, but you know, we'd just be beaten. So they like, how are they going to make it really difficult for me? And I was like, okay, that's going to be pretty difficult. I don't even like, even if we win one of these, I'll be surprised. But I'm really excited because the thing is that like when you own a bakery, you are still like you're selling something to people, and there's only so much they're going to pay for a cake, right? And sometimes people ask for something, and it's like, listen, I would love to make that, and to do that, for me to break even, I'm going to have to charge you like $100,000, right, or whatever it's going to be, you know. And people are like, $100,000, this is cake, you know what I mean? Like nobody's paying. I wouldn't pay $100,000. I don't have $100,000 to blow on a cake, you know, like that's crazy. So when you get to do these shows, and they're like, Food Network's like, you need to make the craziest stuff you can think of. Like, I get so excited.
It's such a dream.
Yeah.
Right?
What a blessing to be able to like just stretch your wings and make something that's hanging from the ceiling and, you know, shoots out stuff. I can't tell you too much about what we're doing, but I am one of the cakes. I'm doing a 7-block, 2,200 pound ice sculpture.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah, with a chainsaw.
Thanks for listening to this episode of Ingredient Insiders.
You can find the products we discussed on today's episode at chefswarehouse.com or your favorite specialty retailer.
And don't forget to follow us on Instagram @Ingredient Insiders and Chef's Warehouse @Where Chefs Shop.